So it's 2021, Happy New Year to you all, and if you're holding a race this year, then the way to go is hybrid events. If you go to runsignup.com/hybrid, then you can find a lot of information on hybrid events, including our hybrid crash course with videos from our 2021 kickoff event, and you can also read about races that have already set themselves up for a hybrid event, including the Richmond Marathon. Hybrid events are any race, run, walk, ride, fundraising event, etc. that incorporates both in-person and virtual elements. And since they are a key to success in 2021, today we'll be having Whitney Taylor, a senior account manager here at RunSignup, joining us to give some advice on planning and setting up a hybrid event.
The running community is made up of tens of thousands of these micro communities. And all these micro communities interact. And so we thought there were opportunities in this market to build some cool technology.
Hey Whitney, how are you?
I'm doing well.
So I don't think we actually talked in about a year because the last time I saw you was at the RunSignup Winter Symposium, but that was back in January of 2020. So how have things been?
I've been in this industry for over 10 years and I've never seen anything like this year with the COVID pandemic and all.
Sorry, the what now?
The COVID pandemic?
Yeah, what is that?
You're kidding me, right? You know what COVID is.
Well, remember, I'm in Jersey and you're in Colorado, so is that like a local thing or?
Are you trying to tell me that you've not been on any social media feed or read the news or heard the news anywhere?
No, I haven't had time for any news since I got back from the symposium. After that, it was just like so many people emailing in, asking questions about how to set up virtual events. They've gotten so popular in just the last year.
And why did you think that was?
Well, I mean, I know Natalie did her presentation at the symposium on virtual races, so I just assumed she was very convincing.
Andrew, we've been in a pandemic for 10 months. We're going on 1 year.
No way. This is the first I'm hearing about this. Let me just... Oh. Okay, well, this explains a lot. The good news is I have been wearing the mask. I saw a bunch of people out and about wearing one, and I just assumed it was the latest fashion trend. And you know me, I like to keep up on all things stylish, so I do have the mask, and I've been taking care to wear that. This is interesting. Anyway, thank you for letting me know all that.
No problem.
All right, well, I can look more into this later, but we do have hybrid events to talk about now. So can you let us know what are some pros and cons of doing a hybrid event?
Pros and cons of hybrid. Let's just cover the cons first to get them out of the way. There's only a couple, and by a couple, I mean literally one. And that one is that there's some upfront work that you're going to have to do. And as race directors, I'm not concerned for you guys because I know that you know how to put in the work. You put in hard work every day, so this is not going to be new for you. So with that being said, let's just roll right into the pros. The first pro is saving time, and that's with putting in the work up front. It's also with creating what the second pro is, which is a plan B. You're going to have a backup plan if you do have to pivot to a full virtual race. So by doing that, you have already set the scene where people have the ability to transfer from one race to another, or they can move from one race to another, and you already are creating this environment where it will be easy to get everybody from point A to point B. So you will in turn have a successful race. Then the last one, which I know that you guys probably don't want to hear, but there have been some benefits from COVID. And we're going to take some of the components that we've learned in the past year from putting on virtual and challenges into the future. I truly believe from what we're seeing right now that these challenges are going to stay. People love challenges, and we're seeing race directors combine the challenge with the actual race, and they have the challenge leading up to the race. So it gives the participant more opportunity to engage, and they're loving it. And so it's creating a lot of momentum here at RunSignup. And so to put all of that together, and just the key takeaway from this is if you build a solid foundation right now up front, you are going to provide ample opportunity for your participants to join in and to grow with you. You're also going to provide ample opportunity for your business to grow because people want more engagement, more community, and that's what they're looking for.
Whitney, I do want to highlight what you just said there about the virtual aspect of the race being here to stay, because in our video on advice for first-time virtual race and challenge directors, Megan Schultz of the Great American 5000 and Jonathan Farrell of the Women's Distance Festival had this to say about virtual events.
We are definitely planning to continue a couple of our virtual events, specifically the Great American 5000. So we've actually got the 2021 in our this fiscal year's budget. So that'll be an event that we definitely plan to continue. We had almost 67% of our registrants were new to our database for Great American 5000. So that is a huge, that just shows us just the amount of opportunity that virtual challenges present. And when you're not in person, you're not limited then obviously to the location.
As Megan said, we definitely saw a big increase also in new runners this year. I think we had 19 different states that runners came from, and we actually had some Canadians also, which is just great to see from a local 5K.
I know I was blown away by that number being so high. That's definitely a reason alone to continue that event, to grow our database and introduce more folks to all the great things we have going on, in addition to it generating revenue. Working with RunSignup and just the tools that you guys are putting out there, it's definitely making the challenges a lot more engaging, and that's been really great. I find that this stat so staggering that we had 67% new people to our database. So the virtual space certainly breaks down that barrier of location. That for me has been a big takeaway, and so I definitely would like to share that again.
Megan Schultz also was the race director of the Richmond Marathon, which went hybrid this year. So not just virtual, but virtual and a modified in-person event. And here's what she had to say about that new type of race experience.
We have found that we have a format that certainly works really well during COVID. It is very safe, yet still provides that kind of race day experience that everyone's craving. It provides then the opportunity for people to continue to set goals and be motivated toward and have something they're setting out to accomplish. But I think we're also realizing that, even post-COVID, there's going to be an appetite for this. It certainly is not going to replace the normal race day experience, but I think in some ways it may complement what we have normally offered. I think there's going to be a level or a certain type of person anyway that this will continue to appeal to.
For everyone watching, you can watch that full case study video by clicking on the link up here, or we'll have the link at the end of this video. Okay, so Whitney, let's say that I am planning on having a hybrid event. How do I decide which in-person elements to include and which virtual elements to include?
Hybrid events depend on your local circumstances. So here are a few things that you need to think about before putting on your hybrid event. What can you do in person? Meaning, how many people can you host locally, socially distanced? What are those local regulations? Do you have access to the decision makers to make sure that you're following the proper protocol? And if you are working with a timer, make sure that you guys are on the same page when it comes to the start line, with waves, or with corrals, because that is going to be a component of your race. The next one is, how long are your races going to be? So we know that a traditional live race takes place over a couple of hours. However, a virtual, we're seeing anywhere from a couple of days to a couple of weeks. So you really need to make sure you know what that time frame is and you communicate that to your participants. Everyone's favorite, swag. So how are you handling swag? Is it the traditional way of packet pickup? And if it is, then you need to make sure that you're at a location that you can properly handle social distancing. If you're doing virtual as well and you're getting people from other locations or outside of your state, then you're going to need to consider shipping. And with shipping, the number one thing you need to make sure you're focused on is the upfront cost and the labor. So you need to bake that into the price if that's something that you're going to be doing. If you're not comfortable with shipping fulfillment, then I highly recommend reaching out to a timer or a local connection to see if you can outsource that. Moving on to the next, are you timing this race traditionally? And what you need to ask yourself for that is this a competitive race, or is this more of a charity or just a local running event? If this is a competitive race, you need a timer. If this is more of a relaxed environment, then you could potentially get away with no real results. And then everybody's favorite, pricing. So there are a few exceptions. However, for the most part, we recommend pricing your virtual and your live event the same. And the reason for this is that people need to transfer from one race to another without having any issues. You're also being very transparent up front that this is the flat cost and there's no concern for any changes. So that gives the participant the confidence to register early. So that's why we recommend keeping it the same. You need to take note, though, that you need to do the math to make sure that the cost is efficient for you as well as for your participant.
All right, so once I have all of those details figured out and I have my hybrid event set up in RunSignup, GiveSignup, then what can I do to encourage registrations?
The million-dollar question: how do we get more participants? There is one very simple answer for you guys, and that answer is flexible participant management. I'm going to say it again, and I'm saying it slow because it's very important. Flexible participant management. We just went through a year where there were mass cancellations on races, something that the industry has never seen before. Participants are hesitant. They don't know what to expect, just like you don't know what to expect. So giving them the confidence and making them feel comfortable that you are going to manage them well is what they're looking for and will drive registration. So we're going to go over what that looks like in the RunSignup system. So there are a couple of things that you can enable. The first one is event transfers. And an event transfer is going from a 5K to a virtual 5K, or maybe the half marathon to the virtual half marathon, or an 8K to a half marathon. Just giving them the flexibility to transfer from any event that they want within your race. The next one is deferrals. So deferrals is a great option to give your participants to make them feel like they're still going to get that value regardless of when it happens. And a deferral is when you defer to a following year. It could be 2021, it could be 2022, 2023, but it's giving them that flexibility as well as letting them know they get that value. The one recommendation I have with that is to set a deadline for deferrals so that you are kind of placing them in some boundaries and you're giving yourself some structure. Another one is refunds. You could offer partial refunds or you could offer full refunds if you do decide to cancel the race. Just make sure that you have that policy in place. Then the last is race transfers. So race transfers is if you're an organization that has multiple races throughout the year. You can have them sign up for whatever race it may be, maybe it's in March, and then give them the option to transfer to a different race, maybe in August, if they choose to do so, or they feel like it's getting closer to March and they don't feel comfortable. So again, you're giving them flexible options, you're giving them opportunity, and you're also showing them that you're willing to give them value in it as well. So how do we get more participants? Flexible participant management.
And everyone watching, just to be clear, that's flexible participant management, as in participant management that is flexible, not flexible participant management. You're not just trying to manage your contortionists and folks like that. You want all the participants managed. This was not a question on anyone's mind. I just wanted to make a pun. Also, while you're watching this video on YouTube, click the subscribe button, sign up for notifications because we have a lot of video content that's coming out in 2021. It is the year of the hybrid, so make sure you're kept in the loop. Now, Whitney, if I have a 5K and I want to go hybrid and do an in-person 5K as well as a virtual 5K, then in RunSignup, GiveSignup, I should set those up as two separate events, right?
You got it. Our main rule is the 99% rule. And that rule means that 99% of your races should have a virtual event and a in-person event, meaning a virtual 5K and an in-person 5K, or a virtual half and an in-person half. This is done so that you can accommodate both scenarios. The other reason for this is so that you can optimize the experience for all of your participants. You want to make sure that your in-person is getting the best experience they can get, along with your virtual getting the best experience that they can get. And the way that you do that is utilizing multiple features within our platform. However, some features are specific to virtual and some are specific to live racing. So you keep them separate. You can utilize everything. I'm going to go over some of the key things that would be different for a live race versus a virtual race and why you need to keep those separate. So the first one would be confirmation emails. You can use our platform to do event-specific confirmation emails where you can send information such as location, packet pickup, etc. to the people that are live, and then the people that are virtual are going to get a different type of email. The next one would be the registration follow-ups. So you could utilize our email marketing system to send automated registration follow-up emails, giving the people in the live race information about where to go, what to do, what to wear, etc., where in your virtual race, the content that you're going to provide them, the information you're going to provide them is going to be very different. So you want to keep those separate. The next one's a big deal, corrals. So corrals are very important right now with COVID regulations for live events. You're going to want to set up corrals if you're having a larger race. For virtual, you don't need corrals at all because people are doing this on their own. So making sure that you keep them separate and you just are offering corrals to your in-person race. The next one, which involves money, is shipping. We have a shipping functionality. We even have shipping where you can set pricing based off of the location, which is huge because it is going to be more expensive to ship in certain areas. So that's something that you could really take advantage of for the virtual race. However, with your live, you might not do shipping. You might just do packet pickup. So those are some things to think about. And last but not least are the results. So with a virtual race, we have an incredible virtual results component to our platform where you can go in and easily submit your results. But a lot of people, including myself, deem that it's not necessarily fair results because I could be running in 5,000 feet in elevation gain, which is where I live, or I could be competing against my friend that's on the East Coast at sea level. You also have the different terrains, etc. So the different conditions and just you submitting your time from your watch make the results not technically 100% accurate. So you're going to want to have a different result set for virtual than you do for your live. All right, so now that we talked about a handful of reasons why you need to keep your live event and your hybrid event separate, let's talk about some of the features in our platform that can be the same throughout. One of the biggest issues that we experience with hybrid racing as well as just virtual in general is keeping the participant involved and feeling like they're a part of that community. A big draw to these in-person events is the community and the experience. And so we want to try to give as much of that to a virtual participant as we can. So we have some of these features that can incorporate both your in-person and your virtual to make them feel like they're part of the entire experience. One of those features is photos. So you can enable participant upload. And when you do that, participants can upload their photos while they're training, while they're out on the course, after they finish drinking their mimosas, whatever it is they want, they can upload these photos and it goes into a photo album as well as their own photo album so that they can experience and just relive that experience. Another option is social teams. So you can turn on our groups and teams feature and you can link the in-person and the hybrid event to a team. So people that are participating live and virtually can do it together, which is a really cool dynamic when you think about it. Another one is referrals. Referrals in general, I will always push referrals. It is such an awesome feature on RunSignup. I think everybody should use it. It's an easy way to get participants to promote your race and get more participants. And it also can be done with in-person and virtual. Let's say I want to promote a specific race. I can get people that don't feel comfortable or people all the way across the country that want to do this race. They can do it virtually with me. So it's a feature that I think for any race director, you should really consider enabling. And then the last piece of this is just creating that unity between the live and the in-person. And the way that you can do this is by putting on contests that everyone can participate in, whether that be uploading your craziest costume that you train in or your terrain that you're training in, who has the steepest incline. Some other things that you could do would be create a Facebook page, and you could either go live on that Facebook page, or you could just engage participants within there and only allow the people that are in the race in that Facebook page. You could also create hashtags. Hashtags are a great way where people, if they are posting on their social media, they could use your race hashtag or whatever hashtag it is for that specific event, and create this environment where people are just sharing, people are communicating. So these are just a couple of ways that you can create unity within your race.
Well, thank you, Whitney, for taking the time to share that information with us.
Andrew, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. I hope to get to see you soon.
You too.
Have a great day.
All right, well, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you found it informative, please click the like button. That'll let us know that you want to see more content like this. Now, I did say that I would have a link for you at the end of the video for the Richmond Marathon case study. Where is that? Oh, okay, there it is. You can click right there to watch that. You all have a great race, and Happy New Year 2021.